Hey, I need to get real slick with my opening and maybe have like a nice poster and some music. Hey, Electra. Hey, Doreen. Thank you for coming to join me on this beautiful night, February 2022. I appreciate you coming on. Let's see if we can wait for a few more folks to come on. And then we can get started. I'm going to start with just a little bit of news, just a little tiny bit. And then I'll go into the topic of, of sex. Hey, girl. Thank you. You say you have lots of work. I had, oh, I'm at work. Okay. I had originally scheduled this for last night, but I was so tired that I rescheduled for tonight. I have to. I've been spending some late nights, like not going to sleep before 3. Hi, Jaconda. I promise I try to say something. I won't say anything to have you scold me. uh, Gosh, I'm gonna go get this gap narrowed. It's gotten wider since I've gotten older. Um, as I was saying to hello, Carter Mancy Mesquite. Good to see you. Are you still Carter Mancy? Are you still um, a moderator? Because I had to have my computer worked on. I don't know if it knocked out all of my settings. If you're not, I'll go on and make some of you mods in the event that I have an onslaught of viewers and trolls. Um, I hope everyone had a good day. It was sunny here. It was almost 60 degrees here. So it was a really pretty day. I had a busy day. I had to go first to the eye doctor because my eyes have been giving me trouble. And so he scheduled me for May the 3rd to get my left eye uh, fixed. He's going to remove a cataract that's not exactly a baby one anymore. So he's going to remove that on the 3rd. And then on the 17th, I go and get the second one repaired. So I'll be able to see long distance and will need readers to read. I mean, that was a trade-off. So I'll have 2 good eyes. And also when I was saying that I was staying up really, really late because I've had to listen to the songs that I'm wanting to put on the CD. So I had quite a list and I had to listen to them over and over and over again to determine which ones I actually want to put on the CD. So it's kept me awake late at night. And I was editing a friend's book and had a deadline. So I've been pretty busy and burning the candle at both ends. So I think tonight, once I get off, I'm going to uh, lay my burdens down. Now for a little bit of news. Let's start with little Joey Rogan. Now, as you know, he got in some hot water. He's been in a little hot water with Spotify, with musicians and subscribers leaving because of the dangerous information that Joe Rogan is spreading regarding the death angel and cures for it. And he got busted for having several videos. I guess it was part of his comedy act. I don't know. He got busted for using the N word many times. Well, he came on and he gave us sort of an apology. that it was not his word to use, and he, see what I'm saying? Hold up. And he gave us kind of an apology and said that word was not his word to use. But then we find out that he had some quack on who said that Black people have a hormone in them which predisposes us to violence. Bitch, have you read any world history? Have you read about the violence that always comes with you everywhere you fucking go? I suppose when you came to the new world, when you came to these shores, that you got it because you were such peaceful, loving people. You had the Revolutionary War. Everywhere you have gone, there have been wars. So what's in white folks that make them predisposed to violence? And we still see it here. And recently, a young man named Amir Locke was on the sofa sleeping. He sat up and you all killed him. You filled him full of hot lead. I don't know if it's some shit in the water in Minneapolis, but it began with George Floyd, and it seems to continue there in Minneapolis. What is there a hormone that predisposes white people to be violent? What kind of bullshit is that? So Joe Rogan, fuck you, man. Your apologies mean nothing. And because he feels, he's been censored, I guess, I think it was like 133 videos have been taken down on Spotify. A company, and I think it's a Canadian company called Rumble, offered him $100 million to come onto their platform, and there'll be no censoring. He can use the N-word as much as he wants and never have to worry about being censored. Yeah, okay. Well, Valentine's Day is nearing, and somebody sent me this really cute Valentine's Day gift. It's a mailbox. Isn't that cute? I love it. And it was filled with candies, just what I need. I think I've had 4 pieces of chocolate and a beautiful card. I was so pleased and pleasantly surprised because I haven't gotten anything for Valentine's Day in 1,000 years. So it really made my day. It really, really did. I hope you all will you'll be someone's Valentine. Hey, Sharon, you'll be somebody's Valentine, and they will be kind to you. Now, in other news, it seems that Gorsuch, DeSantis, and Pence appeared at the Federalist Society. No cameras were allowed. And I'm kind of wondering if no cameras were allowed, that they were able to catch Pence's speech where he grew half a nut, I guess, by saying that, Trump was wrong. It's amazing how these people grow some balls or a vagina once they leave him, and they can speak out and write books and shit. Why weren't you all saying something when you were there? That might have been the time to say something or do something. But anyway, his statement was finished by saying Kamala Harris won't have the right to overturn her election when they take back the House and the Senate. So everybody is really So the Republicans, they're very excited about the possibility of taking back the House and the Senate. And I'm praying that Democrats show up, that we get out in droves and vote like our lives depend on it, because our lives and our democracy do depend on it. We have to make it so, we have to make the numbers so overwhelming that no matter what these bootleg electors think they're going to do, they won't be able to do. Okay? In Black history, in 1921, a woman by the name of Bessie Coleman was the first Black woman in the world to receive her pilot's license. She was a pilot. She got her certificate or her flying license in 1921, and that has led to the organization of SOS, Sisters of the Skies. And these young women are keeping Bessie's legacy alive, which is a wonderful thing. And they make up about 1% of the pilots in this country. But we applaud Bessie Coleman, the first Black woman in the world to receive a pilot's license. And I may have a little bit more news to tell you. Let's see here. Let me find it. We, of course, remember Rosa Parks, who has been called the godmother or the mother of the civil rights movement. She was an activist, and she became famous when she was sitting at the front of the bus, and she was probably not asked, but probably demanded, someone white demanded that she leave her seat, and she did not. That led to the boycott, the Mississippi bus boycott, and of course, the beginning of the movement. When I lived briefly in Detroit, Miss Parks lived across the street in this high rise. So I would see her from time to time. And also on February 8th, figure skater Debbie Thomas became the first African American to win the women's singles of the U.S. National Figure Skating Championship. She was then a pre-med student. She's a full-blown doctor. And she graduated from Stanford in 1986. On February 6th, the first organized immigration of freed slaves to Africa departed from New York. It was called on a ship called the Mayflower of Liberia. It had 86 passengers who were setting sail to Freetown, Sierra Leone in West Africa. A year later, in 1821, the American Colonization Society founded the colony of Liberia just south of Sierra Leone, and it became the homeland for freed slaves outside of U.S. freed slaves outside of British rule. So thank you, Rosa. Thank you, Mother, the mother of the movement. Thank you, Debbie, for your excellence. And thank you, Sisters of the Skies, for your absolute Black girl magic and your Black excellence. We applaud you. I'm really kind of wondering, and maybe I'll ask this question of Johnny and some of the others that come on Sunday. I'd really like to know what happened at that Federalist Society meeting, because Neil Gorsuch was there, as was Death Santis. And I'm curious to know why Neil Gorsuch had his ass there. And yet they want us not to think that they're not a bunch of political hacks. Yes, you are. And the fact that you would allow the Alabama maps, their district redistricting maps, to stand says to me that you're a bunch of political hacks. Justice Roberts threw us a bone, He voted with Sotomayor, Kagan, and boy, I need to slow down. When I get tired, I don't think clearly. And the justice, that's whatever his name is, the justice that's retiring. He, he threw us a bone and voted with them, but it was a vote of 5-4 to uphold Alabama's redistricting maps, which, Democrats have done it too for political reasons, but this is just out and out racism. Out and out racism. And Roberts, I don't feel shit for you, because you're the one that gutted the Voting Rights Act to begin with. You led the charge. So I don't give a shit about you either. Not at all. So the reason I wanted us to come on tonight to talk about sex and partnerships and the Me Too movement and the fact that we don't have any license over our bodies, especially with these heinous anti-abortion laws that the Supreme Court has to rule on. And so no one is expecting that Roe v. Wade will survive. No one is expecting that. Kavanaugh, that for entertainment purposes only, the alleged rapist shouldn't even, I don't think he should be voting on anything that has to do with women. Nothing. He's a bully. He is a typical rich white boy whose parents sheltered him or saved him somehow from having to pay for any of his wrongdoing. And if he didn't do what Dr. Ford said, I absolutely believe Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, if he didn't do that, his behavior at his confirmation spoke volumes. You whining bitch. The disrespect and that crying bullshit. You're a whining bitch. And I hope the White House continues to press Christopher Wray to release those 100 some odd tips that they didn't look at. When their alleged investigation went on, and out of all of those tips, all the people who wanted to talk, they distilled it down to 4 and took it to that demon that was sitting in the White House. So I hope Senator Whitehouse keeps at it, and I hope that it gets so hot that that they go through your testimony and find out that you lied. You certainly lied to Susan Collins, but then she's a liar too. So what the fuck? We don't expect much coming from her ass. And something that would give you nightmares. Monistat Marjorie Taylor Greene was on an Alex Jones show, and he asked her if she would consider running for president in 2024. What a nightmare. She kind of dodged it. She talked about how she's just a big supporter of President Trump, but I could see in her eyes that he might have put something on that piece of brain that she's got. I wouldn't be surprised. She seems to think wearing a mask is a sign of mental illness. So wearing a mask is a sign of mental illness. I need to know, bitch, what is your excuse? Because you are mentally depraved. What is your excuse? Oh, and also, I found a bit of interesting information in, I think it was See, I got notes everywhere. 1828, the New York Archives found a lawsuit that Sojourner Truth, who was one of the early activists, one of the slaves that was freed and became an activist, she filed a lawsuit against a white man for the freedom of her son, and she was successful. She prevailed in her lawsuit. And one more thing, I was watching the Midas Touch, and Elmer Thud Rhodes, Mr. One-Eyed Jack, his ex-wife, I don't know if they're still married, his wife or his ex-wife came on, and she gave the real reason he shot his eye out. It wasn't because he was doing a gun safety class. He had first made up a lie about how he had gotten a Derringer from his mother, and he was going to give it to a friend of his, a friend of his that I guess was a high school pal who was a convicted felon and crack dealer. He was going to give him this gun because his friend was saying that people were after him, and somehow during the exchange, I guess the gun fell and he bent down to pick it up and it went off. That was a lie. The bottom line is he shot his eye out, allegedly protecting his friend, the crack dealer. He was supposed to be his security or something. So he lost, so that's how he shot his eye out. And his wife went on to say, because the host asked her, well, why is he wearing a patch? She said, well, the time came when he wasn't washing his ass and wasn't taking his eye out at night to clean it and whatnot. He just kept it in there for 2 years, and that it got so infected that they had to remove the eye, and that it got so infected that his eye socket hemorrhaged. Damn. It became so bad that it hemorrhaged, and they had to take the eye out, and he never went back to get the surgery done that might repair it so that he could get another glass eye. So he's got to wear the patch. But the part I can't get over is the fact he wasn't washing his ass. See, that's scary to me. Hell no. After he's been digging holes in the ground and tunnels and shit. Oh my God. And I wonder what's up with her. You met this man when you were 16 or 17 or something like that, and squeezed out 6 babies. What? I know you're happy that he's locked up, and she's telling all his business now because she's probably happy his ass ain't gonna see the light of day for a while. But I'm wondering what was going on with you that you would stay. Look, honey, let me tell you something. There is always a way. There is always a way to leave. Always. Now, back to the topic of discussion tonight. I have to admit that I heard a story on another YouTuber's channel that just caused me to do a little thinking. That's dangerous. And so I don't know these people, but there is apparently, I guess she's a hip hop artist named FTN Bay. And she was dating another artist named Duty Low. I wonder how these people come up with these fucked up names. You know what I mean? What do? How do you sit up and get these fucked up names? Anyway, she had gone online on the social media and accused him of molesting her 5-year-old son. the story goes something like her 5-year-old son came to her and said that this man had abused him and had put screws up his bottom. Now, apparently the child didn't, he might have been throwing up and stuff. I think she said the person who was reporting the story said that the child had been throwing up and that, I guess, he might have been bedwetting or something. He was obviously in distress. And this happened 2 months after the alleged incident happened, and the 5-year-old told her what happened. Well, the question is, if somebody had put screws in his rectum, wouldn't there have, as a mother, if you're bathing your child, wouldn't you have noticed that there was blood, or there had to be some kind of trauma there, so that when he went to the bathroom, it would hurt that, So she went on social media and she told this story. I don't know if he said she was asking social media about what she did, but anyway, she dropped this guy, Duty Low, into the mix, only to come back later and rescind her comment. She accuses him of molestation, putting screws in her baby's booty, and he calls her and they make up, or he's talking to her and talking about he wants to get back with her and everything. So she took the statement and all was well. Allegedly, he even had a conversation. She had her baby with her, and the baby had a conversation while he was on the phone. Now, if this child had been hurt by this man, I would imagine he would be terrified to speak to him. And why would you subject him to that? So he's telling her he misses her and wants to get back together. And I hope I'm telling this story accurately. Only to find out he kind of set her ass up. Because he kind of made it known that because of the damage that she had done to him and to his career, that he could possibly sue her. And that might have been what he said to her before that might have been an impetus for her to take the statement down. Now she has a roommate who said that wasn't true, that this man was never alone with her child. Hi, Love Face, you're new here. That she has a roommate who said that wasn't true, that the gentleman Duty Low had come in, he missed a flight and he returned to her home and was lying down until it was time for him to catch the next flight out for his next show, so that there was no way that he could have been alone with this little boy. So my question is, now, there are a number of my first question is, do you think what would you do as a mom if you had your child come to you and tell you they had been abused by some man that you had brought into the home? And mind you, she hadn't known him that long. She'd only known him for a few months. Are any of you mothers Well, she kept, yeah, you know what, Edwina, she kept saying that she was a good mother, that I'm a good mother, that I'm a good mother. But there were certain things that came up, like the 5-year-old said that he would cook macaroni and cheese for himself on the stove. And it's like, I don't know that at 5 years old, I was doing anything on the stove that was unsupervised. So she kept defending herself in this interview about how good a mother she was. And apparently, Duty Low went through the lie detector test. She'd taken the baby to the doctor. He saw no signs of any kind of trauma. So everything that she was saying wasn't backed up by any kind of facts. So as a mother, if your 5-year-old or your child came to you and said they were being molested by somebody you brought in the house, what would you do? Jaconda, yes, she went to a doctor. Apparently, it was 2 months later when the baby said something. And when she took him to the doctor couldn't find any kind of trauma. They couldn't find anything at all. It didn't look like he'd been violated. Well, we can hide them. Because they must have they must have come on because of the sex. The thing we're going to talk about some sex here, but not in the way that they think. Somehow or another, there's an error, and I'm not able to block them. Let me see if I can time them out. I can time them out, but I couldn't block them. I don't know what's wrong with Miss StreamYard. So that's my first thing. And have any of you ever suffered any kind of molestation? Or, I mean, you don't have to tell me if you don't want, but have any of you been the subject of any kind of abuse? I have told my rape story. So indeed, I shared that with you. And that leads me to women having license over their body. Roe v. Wade could get overturned based on, DeSantis wants to say that it's against the law if you get an abortion after 15 weeks, when most women don't even know they're pregnant. You can tell there's some men making decisions. There's some stupid motherfuckers. They don't know jack about what happens when a woman becomes pregnant and when she actually knows she's pregnant. And Amy Comey Barrett thinks you should just carry the baby to term and then drop it off at the church house steps. Stupid bitch. But in these new laws, you can't even have an abortion if you've been raped or it comes from incest. And there is also a clause, and I don't know if it's in Tennessee, it might be one of the states, say that if that the father, your rapist, has to be informed, he gets a chance to say whether or not you can get rid of the child. Okay, Edwina, my breasts were grabbed by my mother's boyfriend, and she slapped me for telling her. Yeah, that's kind of what happens, isn't it? I've heard stories of when someone is reporting abuse, the mother will become angry with the child, and somehow it's the child's fault that your perverted man is abusing your child. So you think that what's the name? FTN Bay ought to be monitored? Well, she may be from now. I really don't know. I just thought the story was interesting because I began to think about relationships. I began to think about why women fall for the okie doke, why they fall for men who are only there because you made it easy for them to be there. You give it up. You don't know anything about them. Hey, I know that too, because when I was younger, I was passing it around like pound cake and having a wonderful time. I enjoyed it. But then when I fell in love, I understood the difference between fucking and love making. I understood how important it was to get to know the person that you're going to be with. Because sex does not keep a relationship together. And it should never be the reason that anybody stays there. Yeah, the laws don't make sense to anyone who knows anything about a woman's cycle. You're right, Phyllis. They don't. Men don't bleed. So they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue what happens to a woman's body. None. And I have to just wonder, what is it about? First of all, it seems this abuse of women seems to be happening a whole lot in the hip hop community. Chris Brown has now had another woman come forth and say that he raped her at a party that Diddy was throwing. We have stories of Tristan Thompson, who was dating Chloe. Is it Chloe? The one that didn't look like the rest of them until recently. She got her shit fixed. So she looked like her sisters. Him having an affair with somebody he met on Instagram. And the girl getting pregnant, he's denying that the baby is his until it was proven that the baby is his. So he does what? He apologizes. And he's back. I don't know if he's back in her good graces, but what is it? Is it? It's not just young women that are doing this. This whole Instagram thing, we met on Instagram. My God. I think Drake met somebody on Instagram. Or porn star or something. I don't know. And I think she may have a baby. But I mean, what is it about these women that want to get with these men who don't give a shit about them? You're only there to please them. And then you're kicked to the curb and they go back on the gram or wherever they want, or to a show or wherever they want to go, and just get them another woman. What is that? Jaconda says, and there's going to be a lot of dead guys around very soon. Very soon, because folks will get tired of this real quick. Yeah. If a woman is worth her salt, she's going to try to kill a rapist. You know, that's what drives women to do those things. I'm sure you've been raped, you've been abused, you get tired of it, you blow, and somebody's dead because of it. but she'll probably have to go to jail for manslaughter at least. And I began to think about the Me Too movement, how that was hijacked from Tawana Burke, who actually founded the Me Too movement, and that it was hijacked by Rose McGowan and a bunch of white girls. Now, I'm not saying that them getting Harvey Weinstein locked up wasn't a good thing, but people began to think that the Me Too movement was Rose McGowan's shit. She was going all around. Nobody, if you were to ask anyone who Tawana Burke was, they wouldn't be able to tell you. And then they would have their little white girl gatherings, and Tawana Burke would be there because, oh, we're so happy that you're here. We're so happy that you formed this organization. And they give her a plaque. I do not know that any Black woman who has come out and said she was raped has even gotten the same attention in the Me Too movement. And do you think sometimes the Me Too movement has gotten a bit toxic and has gone a little bit too far? For this woman to say that this man abused her son, I mean, that's quite a charge. That is a life-destroying charge. And we have chicks that come out here, and because they want to get some revenge, they want to claim that they were touched inappropriately. Oh, he rubbed my back. And I felt violated. Somehow, and I don't know, somehow I think, Andrew Cuomo might not have been, it wasn't a perfect cat by any stretch of the imagination. And perhaps he was a little too liberal. But I feel like some of those girls were paid off to say that they were raped because wasn't his shit thrown out? He didn't have to appear in court. Wasn't it thrown out? But shit, now his life is wrecked. He had to resign as governor. His reputation is trashed. What do we do when someone lies on somebody? Because we're supposed to believe a woman when she says she's been raped. We're supposed to believe a woman when she says she's been abused. I agree with you, Electra. And I think because Zaddy, the demon, was at Bedford, he was at his golf course. Now, I don't think, and Attorney General James came out and said that this was good information. So I'm kind of wondering what happened. Because, see, the Pumpkinhead, I think, is hoping to get a Republican in as governor. Somebody who's a sympathizer with him, because he's got so much shit coming at him with Letitia James, so that you get somebody that can put a stop to it, or at least slow it down. I don't think they can stop federal. No, she's state. She's the state attorney general. If he gets a sympathizer in, then he can think that some of that stuff will go away. And I felt like it was a hit job. I really did. Because it seems like the governors and the people who didn't kiss his ass had people coming after him. That whole recall thing with Gavin Newsom. He was banking on that. Didn't work. I bet Gavin's banging his head against the wall, wondering what, or maybe happy that he ain't the blow up doll who's with Don Jr. now. The best, Miss Best, the best is yet to come. I bet he's wondering, like, what the fuck was I thinking? I thought they were dating. I thought he had dated her. I didn't know he was married to her. My God in heaven. She has truly gone over the deep end. So I guess my question is, what do you all think? I'm going to put your comment up. That way I'll be able to read it better, girl. This is what your comment says. The Me Too movement is fine. It's the new Time's Up movement of those folks out in Hollywood that are the problem. The lawyers bilk the victims, then defend the abusers. I think the Me Too movement is fine if we are actually talking about people who have been raped. Yeah, it is fine. I know what it feels like to be raped. And when I got courage to stop it? When he was going to flip me over and try to sodomize me. That's when I got brave as fuck. Hell, I got real brave, and my strength came from somewhere, and I was able to knee him in his balls, and he got up and got out of there. Because when I got him off me, I was going to kill him. You will not be putting your penis in my booty. No, sir. I've taken all this other shit. He couldn't get to his knife because he had actually held it to my neck. Okay. Let's see what Phyllis is saying. Yeah, you don't. You don't give him any ammunition, but did he think he was doing that? Did he think that he probably, I know I lived in New York amongst Italians, and they were really touchy-feely people. Hey, Kathy W. Yeah, Kimberly Gargoyle. Yeah, that one, the blow-up doll. One of these nights we can come on and we can talk about what we like. But I was thinking about the Me Too movement and the abuse of it. That is what I want to talk about. When women use this as a weapon for revenge and they destroy somebody's life, and then we find out that for what? There was nothing there. There was absolutely no reason for them to bring these kinds of charges. Let's see. I'm going to put it up. When I get my good eyes, I won't have to do this. Those black women that support us are the ones that have put. What black women? I don't know that I've heard of any cases. Well, for instance, there's a case in Hartford, Connecticut, where this woman met a guy on Tinder. She ended up dead. And the police were just going to let it go because he was a nice guy. He was a white man. She had fentanyl and a bunch of drugs in her system, and her family knew she didn't do drugs. And they were going to let this case just go until her family, and see, unlike what happened to Gabby Pepito, if it was the only person I've heard speak about it is Joy Reid. They don't talk about our women when we go missing or end up dead. You don't see it on mainstream media the way you did with Gabby. She's dead. And if her parents hadn't raised a stink, his story didn't jive, and he allegedly had connections at the police station. He was a nice guy. But now his ass is being investigated. And that's the other thing. Have any of you gone on any dating sites? Do y'all do this whole internet dating thing? That shit is lost on me. I don't even get it. The rumor is her brother gave her the drugs. Well, yes, that's what he is saying. That's what the man is saying, Electra. That she had went out to meet somebody and it was her brother, and that she went out to meet him or something. I'm still going to keep an open mind about this. Because she couldn't have been snoring. Like he said, she was next to him and she was snoring. She must have been choking then. She must have been in distress then. Yes, Phyllis, there's a story of a case of a young Black woman who went on a dating site. I think it was Tinder. Oh, yeah. Have you all seen the Tinder Lover on Netflix? I think it is. We'll get to that in a minute. But she hooked up with a man, a white man, and allegedly, and she ended up dead. So the bottom line is that they're trying to, her family said she didn't do drugs, that she was studying to become something great, and that she did not do drugs, that she was close to her family. Oh, really, Edwina? It's not the guy's first time? Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, how do y'all feel about going on dating sites? I tried it once in the early days. And I went on one date. First of all, people can put up their prom picture or something. And they show they don't look nothing like their picture, okay? So I went to dinner with this guy. And I guess he thought that because of the dinner, he deserved, he deserved a taste of my Mugu Got pan. So he began to talk about how well he knew how to munch and all that. And I think I stopped him in his tracks when I said, so do I. For a moment anyway, because then he wanted to talk about threesome. It was disgusting. That was my first and last time. So have any of you gone on the dating sites? Oh, the Tinder Swindler. Yeah. It's on Netflix. There, and you know what? Let's see. Anybody? Has anybody? Y'all been on the dating sites? Shit. It just makes no sense to me. If a person can look you in the face and lie to you, how much better can they lie on a dating site? So none of y'all have tried it? Well, the Tinder Swindler, I want you to watch it. This man swindled women out of millions. And there are also a lot of romance scams. I actually know a person who was involved in one. She was mad, she met somebody, and she's a great artist, and she met this man within one of those kind of groups on Facebook. Now, see, the first red flag was he was from Nigeria. Danger Will Robinson. So they began to, converse back and forth. He said all the things she wanted to hear. He began to refer to her as his wife. Now, mind you, she has 4 daughters, I think. 3 or 4 daughters. They were in the extended stay. You're out here busting your ass every day, doing whatever you can do. First, she worked for Delta for a short period of time. She was working herself to just to death, to keep a roof over her girls' heads and to send him money. Wow, Edwina, really? Oh, I know, Compton girl. Really? I believe it. Oh, my God. Well, we thank God that you were able to live through it to tell it. My God in heaven. So she was working to send him money. Now, I thought the way she talked about him, I thought they had met. And then I found out they had never laid eyes on each other in person. And she was just sending him money. And I was just, she was always, when we were at the polling place, she could hardly do the gig for him communicating with her. And oh, she was in love. And you know what she did? She ended up flying over there to see him, where they allegedly got married. And he was supposed to be coming back with her to the States, but he claims when he went into the whatever office it is you go into, the visa office, that the man there just looked at. She couldn't go in, mind you. She was not allowed to go in because if it was legit, she could have gone in as a sponsor. But she said she wasn't allowed to go in, and he came out saying the guy took one look at him and told him he wasn't going to give him a visa. He wasn't trying to come over here. Then she found out who he really was. He was chatting up other women and getting money from them. He had a good thing going. It took her, she had been involved doing this for four years or more. Now you don't even have a place, a permanent residence for you and your children. And you sending a man money. He's telling you what to eat and trying to discipline your girls. And I knew when she told me about him, I knew that it was a scam. I knew it. But I also knew that she wouldn't listen to me if I tried to tell her. And you got to wonder how many women get swindled out of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars by people they've never met. Because they're lonely. Is that why we get with people? So you never went out with them, Phyllis? What stopped you from doing it? Was there something? Was there a red flag? Let's look at it. Edwina says I got him back to my house in the shower and I hit the streets, called the police. Yeah, yeah. When it happened to me, the person, I think I was living in a lovely cottage. It was with history, a lot of famous, you know, old, yeah. William Holden had stayed there. I guess Charlie Chaplin had stayed there. This was a very beautiful property, and the cottage was really, really lovely. Had a lot of glass though, and so I think the person actually came in to rob, and I came in before he could get anything because there wasn't a light fixture at the front door. You had to walk across the room to get the overhead light, and he got me before I got to the light. And to this day, I will not come into a dark room. I will not come into a house that doesn't have a light switch at the door. Edwina, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. He kept trying to get the garage door open, so I said, why? Okay, come to my apartment and we can do it. Yes, you got to think on your feet, because I didn't want to because it's not about anything more than putting fear into you. It's the most heinous crime. It's a heinous crime. They take your power. It's like they take your power away. And I didn't want to anger him because I had a knife at my throat. And he just broke the skin just enough so that for a while I had a scar. And I thought to myself, I can remember the way he smelled. I can remember the sound of I can remember everything. And then when I went to the police to report it, the cop made me feel as if I deserved it. That I was, well, what were you wearing? Clothes. I was coming in. What fucking difference does it make? So you become further victimized by policemen. Because somehow it's your fault that it happened. Phyllis, you said there wasn't a red flag. You just wasn't in the Hennessy. Where? Jay Salas waiting on. Oh yeah, I have a friend who was snatched at a from her bus stop and taken somewhere and abused, and then just driven back and just thrown out of the car. And she's lived with that pain all these years. I think I was the only one she ever told. What a nightmare. What a nightmare, Edwina. But I have decided I'm even thinking of learning to shoot, buy a pistol, and learn to handle it. Because it's getting wild in these streets. Wild. And I have decided that anybody tries to hurt me again, that they will die. Because my mission is to kill you. Oh, Carter Manson, you know how to handle it. You packing some heat, girl. You're my hero. All right now. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, especially with this, like Texas says, anybody can get a gun. You just have to give them your address and bam, you can go get a pistol. You don't have to register it. No background checks. And that's the same kind of shit they want to put in place here in Georgia. That you can get a gun. They don't do background checks. You just fill out a form. And I feel as if it's as women, we need to do something to take care of ourselves, and we need to do something that will stop somebody. Because truth of the matter is, I don't know that any of us can take on a man. So I went to a self-defense class, and the instructor gave me a keychain, and it's a metal bar with two prongs, and it's like a pointed pencil. I mean. So if somebody comes on you can just stick them with that. But I need to do something that's gonna do some real damage. So you both carry? Edwina, you're here in Georgia? All right, yeah. I think it's a good idea for women to begin to think about these things. I think perhaps when I put the title up, I was thinking about the Me Too movement. I was thinking about the women who have abused it so that lives are destroyed. And then you come across an asshole like Brett Kavanaugh, and whose family they didn't want to see his future ruined. So, it's okay for him to do what he does, but as long as he's got his life and his future. And I think Betsy DeVos was also going around changing the rules on campuses so that the laws or the rules or regulations, whatever, favor the guys more than they did the women. I'm in Georgia too, girl, Edwina. We got a lot of work to do. And in all of that, I had to kind of come back to my what happened to me. And how am I going to move forward in terms of protecting myself? Any woman protecting themselves. I don't carry this vibe like I'm afraid. However, I do. I've heard Adrian from Red Lentil Healing say, keep your head on a swivel. I am aware of who's around me. And I keep my, I don't act like I'm afraid. I actually try to now look, I might be 5'3", okay? But I think tall thoughts, so I don't even realize I'm short until I can't get something out of a cupboard or off a shelf. But I do walk and carry with it, myself with an attitude. But yeah, but I think I need to. We must do whatever it takes to protect ourselves, because it's getting wilder and wilder out here in these streets. And in Atlanta anymore, it doesn't matter where you go. They have been, Lenox and Phipps Plaza And Buckhead, those are supposed to be the Tony neighborhoods. And yet you have people, oftentimes women, getting pistol whipped and robbed in broad daylight. Yeah. And it seems to get wilder and wilder. And folks are getting more nervous each day at the thought that this country might has potential to have a civil war. You know? Mm-mm-mm. Edwina, that, woo! But I know Compton. I have relatives that live in Compton, so I do know. I do know what's happening. Okay, let's see what Phyllis has said. I'm putting y'all's comments up. You conflict. I am too, and I have too been held at gunpoint. Yours was a home invasion. The thought sickens me too, baby. I mean, I don't want to kill anybody, but if I can kneecap them, and something to stop them. I don't relish the idea of thinking that I could possibly kill someone, but I feel, or I know in my heart, if I think somebody is going to hurt me, I'm going to fight like I want to live. Now, I do have something here. I got some of my weight out of storage. I do, they will get bashed in the head trying to come in here. But I haven't had any problems because I honestly do believe that the Lord is watching over me, and I set Archangel Michael and my angels of protection outside my door every night. And I know that they are standing there because one night I was so tired. And I was in one of those deep sleeps, and it was on a windy night. This was just a few weeks ago. And I had closed the door, but I hadn't closed it so that the thing engaged, with the plate. I heard a wind wish, a big gust of wind came, and the door cracked. I thought I was dreaming, though. It was like I could feel the gust of wind, and I could hear the door, and it cracked just a little bit. Just enough so that anybody passing by would know that the door was unlocked and all the lights are off and I'm in here, and nobody came in. I just think we have to think more about how we're going to defend ourselves. That's all I'm saying. Because anybody that's intent on hurting you is not going to show you any mercy. And so I have the weight. I have it right by the door. I also have my Bible open to the 91st Psalms, which is our protection Psalms. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Within that psalm, we are promised to be protected, lest we dash our foot against a stone, that no plague shall come nigh our dwelling, that we don't need to be afraid of the terror by night or the arrow that flieth by day. In Kabbalistic teachings, they believe if you pray this prayer properly a certain number of times, using the holy name associated with that name, you never say the name of God out loud in these prayers, that somebody could point a gun at you and shoot you and you would not die, that it would make you bulletproof. So you say your experience happened 13 years ago? Wow, when you lived here. Yes, he was. And he's still on your side. Now, my father was an excellent marksman, and he told us if we wanted to learn to shoot, he would show us how to clean it, how to respect a weapon, that guns are not toys. So we didn't have any toy guns. Good for you, Cartomancy. The 91st Psalms is our holy insurance policy. And I pray it every day and every night, 3 times a day. Because the Lord also gives us wisdom, doesn't he? For people who don't want to take the vaccination, saying the Lord is on their side. Yeah, he is, but you know, he didn't tell you to be stupid. If you believe that, then you need to know he said, render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's. Obey the land, the laws of the land. But I guess, they only want to use God when it's convenient. I think maybe I should have made my thing another title, because I didn't know we were going to get love, whatever that person was. I didn't, I just am so unsuspecting. I didn't know that person, I had started to say they dance with no clothes on or some shit. I thought, I didn't know they were a troll. They would have gotten bored with this conversation and left any goddamn way. Oh, let's see. All right. So you came in 2008. I arrived here in January of 1998, right when, just on the heels of the Olympics in Atlanta was on fire. I mean, this city was rocking. There was plenty of gigs. I was working a day job at a prestigious law firm with one of the managing partners, and gigging. It was great when I got here. Yeah. I attended the University of Hartford and Hart School of Music. And Hartford was a lovely city. I mean, but I understand now that it's just in the Haven. I lived there too, and it just, I don't know what's happened to those cities. I don't know. Shows. So, oh wow, that's great. And that's what you're supposed to do. Your nana did the right thing. Beat the shit out of them. Right. So I know it was in 1996, but in 1998, the city was still thriving. It was still rocking. And there were that's when people from north and the West Coast, from New York and from LA, they started moving here because the city had plenty of opportunities. You could actually have a dream and realize it here. So it was rocking at that time. And it was shortly thereafter, I was a paralegal on for Al Gore when he challenged the election results with George H.W. I have my plaque and stuff from that. And when he got into office, and I don't know, shit just went south. It literally, law firms were laying off people, women, and en masse, all the while looking for new talent to come in. It was really tough. It was tough. There was some tough years here, and I don't know. Well, I guess life is what you make it, but it got really tough if you were looking for a regular kind of job, and then some of the clubs began to close. So the gigs that were scheduled, the people were having trouble opening up their establishments. So there went the gigs, sort of like what the Death Angel did in 2020. It not only shut down the courts, so I couldn't get any work from any court reporters or attorneys, all the venues shut. And some of them are waking up. And that's why I'm excited in 20 and 22. Because I'm moving right along, baby. I am moving right along. I am determined. It's an ambitious project, but I know it's going to be the bomb. I know it's going to swing. So, hey, that excites me. You say your nana was a gree-gree? That's New Orleans, isn't it? Gree-gree gamba young. Was she from New Orleans? You say you are a real New Englander? This is Edwina. Wait a minute. Let me put her statement up. I'm a real, oh, yeah. I mean, I love New England. I really do. It's beautiful. It's breathtaking in the fall. Fabulous in the spring. I just love it there. I really do. It's just that I don't want to be there when it's cold anymore. I don't want to be anywhere. Uh, yeah, you're right, Electra. I don't want to be anywhere that is cold. I can deal with the spring and the summer. I love the heat. I love the heat. Love it. I'd rather be taking something off than putting something on. Even though when I lived in New York, you could dress real cool. You could layer and wear cool clothes. And the good thing about being here is that we're already getting weather in the high 50s and stuff, We might have another snap, but I doubt it. It's usually about this time that the foliage starts to come back. And so cold, the wintertime here gets very, very cold, but it's short-lived. It doesn't stay long. So I can deal with that. Oh, yes, Edwina. Oh, yeah. Some of the best seafood in the world. The lobster rolls in Maine. Woo! Yes. Yes, the seafood is magnificent. Yeah, George, but the demon makes George Bush look like he know what he's doing. He he makes George Bush look real good. Oh, yes, she's from New Orleans. I thought so. One of my favorite, one of these days I'm going to play his music. One of my favorite performers and one of the kindest men I ever met was Max Rabenak, a.k.a. Dr. John. I love me some Dr. John. I met him in Detroit after he did a concert. And when he came here to play, I was in the house. I love New Orleans and that New Orleans swing. I really like Big Frida. I like the music, the groove. My keyboard player is from New Orleans. And he's a beast. He is a beast. He's magnificent. Yeah. Well, I've had you on for an hour and a half, just kind of rambling on. Sometimes, when I get an idea to come on and do it live, I probably need to do it right then and there, because if I let my mind rest for a moment, I got all boogered up. I have my notes here. I got most of what I wanted to say out, but I don't know that it quite came together as I thought it would, because I really wanted to talk about sex and sex and us as women. Yep, they closed all over the country, and some of them have never reopened. They didn't get the PPP money, and it was supposed to be. Oh yeah, Big Frida is the bomb. I love her. I used to watch her videos, her Sunday brunches. I love her. I love her. I love her music, and I love her heart. She's a genuinely kind and decent person. Um, yeah, they didn't get the loans, and there was allegedly some PPP money. They were going to reinstate the closed venue funds, and I don't know that was ever enacted. I really don't, because when those loans came out, the money went to the people that already had money, and some of them had to be shamed in order to give the money back, to return it, and the people who really needed it didn't get it. You like Dr. John? Dr. John, he's your mentor. Yes, he did. And he acknowledged the old ways too. The first tune I ever heard from Dr. John was Mama Roo. And I wore it out. I think I just love his groove. I love his groove. Hey, Keisha. How you doing, girl? I just been rambling. What I was saying, and I'm rambling again. I was saying that when I think of something and I write a note to think about what I want to discuss on a topic, I should probably do it sooner rather than later, because sometimes when I look at my notes and let it rest, it's like, hmm. I think I got most of what I wanted to discuss out. Keisha, we were talking, I talked about the abuse of the Me Too movement. That we want to believe when a woman says something has happened to her, we want to believe her. We want to believe it's true, but too many women have used the Me Too movement just to get some revenge or to get some money. And it makes anyone who truly has had a terrible experience. It just makes it difficult for people who really have been raped or abused. So I think I'll come back on, what's tomorrow? Thursday? Damn, where's the time going, y'all? She was the queen of the little red, white, and blue. Yes, I love it. I think I'm going to play it when I get off. I'm going to play that tune and do me a little dance and get me some rest, because I am in true need of it. true need of it. I love all of you. I really do. Thank you so much for coming on and keeping me company. I look forward to our time together. And so I'll send out a notice. I'll notify you when I get another brilliant, another brilliant thought. Make sure that for those of you who know Chemo Cornwell, I'll be seeing Chemo on the 23rd and the 24th of this month. He'll be here with Hiroshima. Then we're going to throw down a little bit, So I am so very excited to see my brother from another mother. I am excited about it, and to see Danny and June and Dean. I think they might be bringing Freddie Schroeder's. It's just going to be just a wonderful aloha time. I'm so excited about it. If I have an opportunity to video some stuff, I will do so. I will share my good time with you. So that's Friday the 23rd and Saturday the 24th of this month. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you soon. I really will. And remember what our oracle card said. Don't go, every day we wake up, it's a new beginning. Do your best not to drag in some shit you didn't do yesterday into this day. And if you must do that, don't be so hard on yourself. Sometimes we don't get everything done that we want to get done. But every day presents us with a new beginning, a fresh slate. So hold on to that and don't be extreme. If you feel like you're getting ready to go off with somebody, just breathe a little bit. Just breathe a little bit. Because we're all going through something. But you don't want to add to that energy. Keep the faith. It may sound tacky. It may sound corny. But during this time, that is all we have. We want to hang on to our democracy. So I have faith that we will do just that. We will get out and we will fight to make sure that what happened these last 4 years will never happen again. Keep the faith. Trust in the unseen. Awaken those dreams. If you put something aside, pick that you wanted to do, or you didn't complete it, or even start it, pick it up again. Pick it up again because you'll actually reap a reward. Let's see I'm Jace, my bass guitarist brother, is putting as me. Okay, I'll check him out. Daryl Vanderpool, I sure will. Thank you so much. I'll go to his channel. Well, y'all, it's 11:34, and Adrian has accused me of giving long Southern goodbyes. I just want to say good night because you will see me again. Thanks so much. Mwah.